All right, so welcome back to Exit 45 Restorations. Today we're going to take a look at something I've had sitting, I don't know, I guess it's been sitting in my yard now for about a year, maybe a little bit more. It's been sitting a lot longer than that. It used to belong to my mother-in-law, and it belongs to me now. It's been in the family since it was bought new. So it belonged to her brother, who's passed away, and the car has some sentimental value to her, and I told her I would take care of it and make sure we get it to a good home. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what we're going to do today. If you haven't seen the other video, I've got another video where I've done a tour of all the cars that I have here in my yard. This was on there, and I don't know much about SAABs. This is a SAAB, I believe it's a 900 turbo. We'll walk around to the back and take a look, but I mean, it's a really nice car as far as like a project car. So, you know, somebody who's, you know, this is their kind of car. You know, this is a good starting place. There's no rust. It's a clean car. I mean, the interior needs a refreshing. Yeah, it's the 900 turbo, 16 valve. So it's a nice little car. Interior needs some work. I mean, the seats are all in pretty good shape except for this one here, and you can see that it's just gotten old and split and needs a little work. It needs to be replaced. But it's got a little tag here, I guess. I mean, back in the day, these were some pretty nice cars. I remember when they came out. I always liked them because cars, you know, back in the 90s, I don't know, they just lack style. And this car has style. I mean, whether you like the style or don't like it, it has it. Let me go get the compressor and then bring that over here and see if we can get them aired up, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's see if we can get some air in these. All right. That'll work. All right. Two of them. I got them both. All right, guys, there's always a way, right? My help didn't show up. I can't get this thing up in the air so I can work on it without it in the shop. So there's always a way. I like it. All right, let's get to it. Okay, guys, got it in here. It's not exactly where I'm going to park it. I'll get it up on some wheel dollies and see if I can't get it in here a little better. But I thought we'd just, before we even get started, let's pop the hood and let's see what we find. All right. Okay. Oh, well, look what we got here. We have a deluxe mouse house. And that is like the super insulated version. Dang. That's something right there. I got 2 cats. What? I shouldn't have this. I'm going to have a talk with them. Anyway, let's take a quick look in here. It looks it looks pretty clean and complete. All right, so I think all we have to do here at this point, the very first thing I have to do is I have to solve the key issue. The key goes in, it won't turn. I think it's got something to do with the position of the shift knob. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. I just don't see any issues, Okay, well, that's new. So, you SAAB people, you're going to have to help me here. Do you see what I'm seeing? This is the AC pump, and there's a belt. Well, I don't even. How do you get to that? How do you get to that? You see it? That's crazy. I can feel the pulley down here. Well, there's another pull. What the hell? Is that how they set these engines up in here? Is backwards? It sure looks like it. I don't see any kind of pulleys on this side. Oh man, that is... Well, dang. Well, these I bet ain't fun to do any kind of maintenance on. And so I did a little bit of reading on these things. I'm not familiar with SAABs, so I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what is a SAAB. They're a little unique. If I understand it correctly, I don't know if you can see in between here and here. If you look, I don't know if you can see in there, but the transmission is actually below the engine, is what I read, and this seems to confirm that. And that it's driven, I don't know whether it's driven up the front side here by some sort of a belt or a chain. It ties the engine, the transmission and the engine get tied together that way. So you have an engine on top of the transmission. You don't have a transmission that runs back behind it. All right, well, I'm not going to jabber any more about it. We're just going to have to start getting this thing jacked up. And then I'm going to get it up on the stands so I can get underneath and start playing with linkage and all of those things. So, All right, guys, I'm going to go underneath, see if I can't locate the shift linkage and figure out what's going on with that so I can get this thing where it needs to be so I can get that key to turn. All right? I am not finding any linkage. Okay, guys, so I've been under the car, searched out the linkage, sorry, and what I found is there isn't a linkage. This is a weird car. There's a cable that runs from the shift knob. It comes out the firewall, and it just turns and goes internally into the transmission. So that, as you move that shifter selector, apparently it just cables inside of the transmission to shift it. So last night, sat down, got on the computer, did a little bit of research, trying to figure out what can I find, why is this happening. Essentially what's happening, I don't know if I really explained this very well, but I can't turn the key. No matter what I do, I can wiggle the shifter, I can wiggle the key. I've sprayed penetrating oil, WD-40, you name it, I've done it. Everything they say to do, except pull the center console out, and tear it apart. There's a reverse lockout on these, and that seems to be the problem. So this is not a fun console to tear out. It's really in a small area, so I'm going to have to pull the passenger seat to get me some room. Once I get the seat out, then I should be able to get in there. I can start pulling this thing apart. And I think what's happening is there's like a thing in there, whatever. It's supposed to be moving, and I think it's maybe gummed up pretty bad or something of that nature. I really don't know until I dig in there. So let me show you where I'm at, and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay, so here we are. Key's going into here. It won't turn from that position, so I can put the key in it, and that's it. That's as far as it'll go. It stays in the lock position, and I can play with this all I want, but I can't get that to free up. And I have been trying. I've tried several times when I picked the car up. I've tried for quite a while yesterday. It's been sitting overnight with some penetrating oil in it to clean up any gook or whatever, and that hasn't done anything. So the reverse lockout, whatever that function is or how it works in there, is clearly where the problem is. So there's a screw up front here, and then back here I got to pull the ashtray, and then there's a couple of screws there, and this thing should just come up and off. But you can see it's a pretty tight area down here. It'd be a whole lot easier if I can get this seat out of here. So let me get started on that. Okay. All right. Just see if we can slide this back here. We're gonna put this. Whatever. Hey, Pep. Come on. Oh, come on. There you go. There you go. Go ahead and explore. What you doing, Pep? Checking out everything? How come you didn't get those mice that were underneath the hood? Huh? What's up with that? Am I feeding you too much? Huh? Are you getting fed too much? All right, so I've got the screws back here. You can see it's loose. I got the screws up here. All right, so as you can see, I got it off. All of this is now off of there. I can get it up out of the way, and now you can put it down there. There we go. All right, so I guess the next thing is I need to get this off. This is the real trick right here. Let me get you in a little bit better. You can see there's this kind of, I don't even know, weird thing, but I should be able to get like a screwdriver or a punch or something just to tap that around and get that to come out. And then there's, you can go up underneath the carpet and then go, they're facing downward. They're way down underneath, and they're coming up this way. So you got to get somehow, I guess, get underneath here. Get all this out of your way. Let's see if we can get the light a little bit more here so we can try and see what's going on. All right. Maybe you can see a little bit better now. This is the whole mechanism here. And there's some screws up underneath that we have to get to. And you can just get up underneath here to get to them, it looks like. And then this whole thing, yeah, there's another one of those weird, there's 3 of them, looks like. So there's one here, and there's 2 here. Some of the chat boards were saying, just get a 10 mil socket and then just grind out, you know, to have these tabs so you can just use that. That may be a better option. I don't know if I can get into these tighter spots.
Might not need to.
Anyway, we got to do all that to get to the bottom of the tumbler here so that we can find out, you know, if this reverse lockout mechanism is what's causing our problem. So all of this just to see if that's our problem. All right, let me get at it. All right, guys, so I'm sitting all cramped up in this car. One of the problems and I think I just showed it to you, was those 3 special nuts that they've got that are near impossible to get to. I tried, you know, with a hammer and screwdriver to try and tap them around and get them to break loose. I couldn't get them. I saw on one of the chat boards somebody said to notch out a socket to fit in there. I tried it, and it worked. Let me show you. All right, guys, so I wanted to show you real quick the tool that I made. Let me get it there you go. So you can see. There you go. You see that. Just ground out some areas and it worked. All right, so here's the deal. I've got well, I can't really do this, guys. It's tough. Okay, so all those special, let me get here. So those special screws that are right there and right there, and the one up front are right here. I got those all out. All right, so here's where we're at. I've got all the center console out in this area. Okay, so remember them screws I said that were up underneath here? Well, those had to come out, and I got them, as you can see. But then that wasn't the fun part. Getting those out was actually fairly easy. But there's your shifter lever, and then there's your or I guess rod. I guess it's a cable. There's a cable that goes out of the car, and this was all in there with an Allen wrench and a keeper. That wasn't any fun to get to. Going back together with this is going to be just awesome. Anyways, just so everybody can see, this is turning into a crazy video and a crazy time, but we got it. Now I can take this to the bench and I can pull these screws right there. We can get to that side of it and figure out why is this shifting unit not functioning properly. All right, let's go to the bench and get out of this car. Woo! We're going to take this all apart. We're going to clean it up really good, and then we're going to see if we can't get this thing operating properly, and then we'll go back in the car. So this here was on here like this, and those screws are in there like that, so you can pull that back out. And then this just came off the top plate and the bottom plate both come off when you take those screws out. So we'll set that aside for now, and then we're going to dig into the internals of this. So you can see here, there's this gear right here, and then there's a rod right down in there, as you can see it right there. And that is where our problem lies. So we've got to figure out something may have gotten out of sync. I don't know what happened, but we're going to dig into that right now. All right, so let us play. All right, so the next thing that we've done is we've taken the screws from both sides of the switch, and then we pulled that out. And then you can see inside there the mechanism between the key, the switch, and your reverse lockout lever. All right, so we have made progress because look, it works. This was so gummed up in here that the key, you couldn't turn it. I had to keep working it with I took a screwdriver in here and I just kept working it little by little, and then eventually I was able to start getting it to move with the key. So I've been hitting it with some brake cleaner, and look at that. Everything works fine. Whoa, easy, killer. Anyway, so you can go all the way here, and then, so we got that out of the way, and then the shifter now goes all the way nice and easily like it's supposed to. That was not happening. You put the key in the lock position, and that's it. You can't get it into reverse. So the mechanism inside here seems to be working. So now it looks like it's time to put it back together. All right, guys. Well, as you can tell, we have everything back together, and watch this, and springs back.
Everything works.
And it works. So it looks like it just needed a good cleaning, but when you look on the chat rooms and stuff and they say, oh, you got to pour a bunch of, cleaner or, penetrating lube down in this area, all the area that needed to be cleaned was down in here. And that wasn't getting there. And that was just gummed up and you couldn't get it to turn with the key. Now, the fun job of putting this back in the car. Okay, we're back in the car. Okay, so it's time to get you guys caught up to where I'm at. All right, so lift that up just a little bit. Okay, so this right here is a switch, it looks like a shift lever position switch. There's 2 screws on this side and on this side. Pretty simple. You just got to make sure that this little thing here is riding in that. So as you move this, I don't know, could you see that? So you see how that moves with it. You want to make sure that that's in there, and then just bolt it down. Pretty simple. This green wire plugs into this white wire right here. You got that. And then you have all of these that have to be plugged into your switch. So that's as far as we've gotten on this so far. So we've got the cable underneath secured. We've got our shift lever position switch right here, wired or screwed back in and set with the shifter knob. And then we have our ignition switch plugged back in. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing here. This is really going to be tricky to show you. All right. So if you can see down inside there where I'm pointing right now, there's a little Allen screw, and that's what tightens the shift knob to the cable. And so what I'm trying to do now is loosen that, adjust this in the direction I need it to go, then retighten it. And I'm going to do that until I can get this thing to go all the way to park and lock. All right, so I've finished working on the rigging like we talked about with the set screw back in there. And watch this. I can come out of park and back into park. It's all rigged now. So see, now it's in park all the way up on the switch now, and the key turns. Where are you taking me, huh? Come over here. Come here. Come over here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Well, come here. There you go. And say hey to everybody. Say hey to everybody. Yeah, come here. Where you going? I ain't following. Nah. All right. I gotta get back to work, buddy. Okay, guys, so I've got the center console all done, all back in. Everything's where it should be, and even better, I spent a day and a half at least just trying to get this key to turn. That's all I've been trying to do, so I can see if this thing will run. But there you go. She turns. I can now move the stick. And it works. So the key works beautifully, and no more problems there. So next thing we're going to do is I'm going to vacuum up all this area before I put the seat back in it. And then we're going to get back to, well, I guess, will it run? We're going to see if we can get this going. All right, guys, so seat's back in, got everything back together. So let's work our way back over here. And let's just give this a once over. I've already, kind of did a walk around with you guys to check everything over. And I never really found anything real problematic from that perspective. Our brake juice is good. Where was that oil? Let me tell you something. There are just people out there, I think, who just like to torture themselves. That's all I can think of why a SAAB was made. There's so many things on this that are so difficult. I mean, I'm kidding. I know there's a lot of people out there that love these things. I like the way they look. They're very difficult to work on, and they're very difficult to get to everything. So, you do a restoration on this and you're going to pull everything off, the whatnot. Man, get it right before you put it back, because it's going to be hard to get to it. All right, let's find that dipstick and let's make sure our oil's good. Find the radiator cap somewhere. Make sure we're good there. Maybe a transmission. Got to find that. I don't know, but let's start looking. All right. All right. So dipsticks. Where do they put their dipsticks? If you know, you can yell it, because it might help. I do not know where they put their dipsticks. Oh, what do we got here? What do we got there? Is that a dipstick? It looks like a tube. I don't know. Oh, it comes out. Okay. Look at that. We got a dipstick. All right, let's see what we got. All right. So, the oil looks pretty good. It's full, and it looks good. All right. So, that's going to be good for us. Got that. All right, let me go around. I don't see anything on this side as far as radiator and transmission. So maybe it's on the other side. Let's go take a look. All right, so we got radiator hoses. I see the radiator. And there's no access to it, so maybe that's your power steering fluid, and let's take a look in there. That is dry, so I'm going to need to put some in there, or almost dry. There's some in there, but very little. What is this? Is this our wiper fluid? Yep, that's our wiper fluid. I bet it's right there. I was sitting right next to it the whole time. Let me take a look. There it is. All right. There it is. And it needs some water. Okay, so let's get this topped off. Let's get our power steering topped off. And then I feel comfortable twisting the key now that we can twist the key. All right? And hopefully we don't run into any more and we can kind of get this thing started and running and see what we got. Because I've already spent, like I said, a day and a half to 2 days now just trying to get a key to turn. So, you know, there's always one thing, right? There's always that one thing that keeps you from getting a car from going, and I'm hoping that was it, and I don't have anything else that this thing will start. So let's start by topping off those couple of things, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right, let me get the power steering over there topped off. Oh, that's a big reservoir. All right, that's done. We know the oil's good. Reservoir's filled for the radiator. This is the vent for the AC, for the condenser and all that, and it is filled with crap. So I'm gonna grab the vacuum, see how much I can get out of that. All right, you're good there. All right. I mean, I guess I don't see any reason why we can't turn a key. Let's see what we got. All right, you guys. You guys ready? I mean, oh, I am so ready. I've been cramped up in this little car now for almost 2 days. So let's turn the key. Let's see what we got. All right. Did you hear that? That was weird. All right, here we go. All right, just quiet it down. All right, I don't have an oil pressure gauge, so I'm just gonna have to listen to it, but just quiet it down. Let's go see what we got out there. All right, a little bit of clatter. You keep an eye on that. All right, I can see down in there where the transmission and the engine are tied together. Very weird. This engine is literally backwards from every other engine. Your flywheel's back here, your front of your motor and your belts and everything's over here. It's a very weird setup. Yeah, you can hear but I don't know what this engine normally sounds like, so. All right, well, I don't see anything leaking or anything like that. We're just gonna let it run for a second. See if we can't get some temperature into it. Yeah, I don't see anything. We got something pouring out down here. Looks like all the power steering fluid I put in is coming out. All right, so first run, first start, first everything for several years now. Not bad. So like I said, I don't know if you could hear me. I know that it was a bit loud, but so it looks like we might have a little bit of a brake fluid leak coming from right down underneath in here somewhere. So I'm going to assume something on the master cylinder is leaking, and I don't see anything. Don't see anything. Looks clean from up here. Anyway, we are definitely leaked out. Looks like all of the power steering fluid probably has come out. So that is going to be down in here somewhere in this fun spot. That's not going to stop us from trying to drive this thing, though. Let's get this off of jack stands and let's see if the transmission goes into gear. All right, we got second. Got drive. All right, we're going back. All right, we're still doing good. So we're gonna see if we can't get some heat into it. See if we get our fans to come on. See if we get some circulation. I don't know if we'll see it there or not, but yeah, let's just let this thing heat up a little bit. All right, I see. So down here, it's hard to see, but there's I think it's a rack and pinion down at the bottom there, but I can't tell for sure. But yeah, that's so right down here, it's got a rack and pinion, and that's what's leaking. Yep. All right. Well, at least we know what's leaking. She's starting to warm up. You can see it there. Looks like either the gas gauge isn't working or I need to get some gas in it. I mean, it's multi-port fuel injection, so you know these cars can tolerate sitting for quite some time, and you have a pretty good shot at getting them running. All right, she's starting to warm up. We're starting to get some circulation in here, and it's good thing I see some green. So we got radiator fluid in here, so it is winter, so that's good. All right, I went ahead and shut it down. She was holding temperature. It's cooler out, so it probably would have taken a long time to get them fans to come on. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, put the hood down. We're going to get this tightened up, and I think we're going to just take it up and down the road real quick. I'm not going to go far. Just want to make sure she shifts through the gears and all those things. All right. So let me get set up for that, and then we're gonna take it out on the road for just a little bit and got this thing out of the woods and back on the road. I love it. You ever have those moments where you feel really stupid? I seem to have them a lot. Couldn't find the oil or the transmission dipstick. So, you know, of course I saw this, but I figure that's where you fill it. But nope. So what I was checking earlier when I pulled it just a second ago to read it, it said gearbox oil. So that was the gearbox. That oil didn't look so great. Not for transmission fluid anyways, and it was low. So that was our shift problem. Oil, fine. Just checked it, it's fine. But that's where that's at. So oil, and then up there, right there is your transmission. So I'll have to get some fluid, see if we can get some fluid in that, and then try this thing again. All right. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see what we can do. All right. So steering is fine. I mean, I'm not noticing at least that the power steering's out or anything, but all right. So let's see how she goes through the gears. Yeah, headliner in this thing's toast. All right, let's get out here. See if she'll shift through the gears. All right, so far no shifting. Transmission doesn't appear to be all right. We're gonna just turn it around here and see if we can't bring her back, but she's not wanting to shift. Not shifting at all. Nope. She don't want to shift. All right, she just shifted down to low, or 1. Now I'm in second. There we go. So it worked manually. It didn't work on its own. Now I want to try it again, because now it's doing fine. Huh. Well, I'm going to turn this thing around and we're going to go up and down the road one more time just to see what we got, because manually I was able to get it to shift all the way through. All right, so it's definitely lost its power steering. All right, here we go. Let's see if she'll shift on her own. Nope. Alright, and then I manually went through the gear and it shifted fine. Alright, so yeah, we got a shift issue. Could be just low on fluid, but I have no way of checking it. I mean, I'm sure there is, I just can't find it, so I'm gonna have to find that. But I'm gonna call this a win as far as test drives go. It drove. There's no way I would have tried to drive this like any distance. She's doing all right. Let's see if we can get her. Turbo kicked in. There we go. Well, she wants to go. All right. Well, this thing she wants to run. That turbo kick, I didn't expect the turbo to work. That turbo kicked in. All right. Let me park it up here. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to get the pressure washer out. We're going to get this thing cleaned up real good. I'm going to get a vacuum on it. And we're going to, you know, at least spruce it up a little bit. I don't want to park it back looking like this. I'll get you in here, let you take a look. I mean, I've practically restored this thing. Look at that. I mean, really, if you don't look up, well, then it doesn't look too bad, except the dash is peeling in some spots, but not bad, guys. Not bad for sitting for so long in the woods. Okay, I'm going to close this up. I'm going to get the pressure washer. We're going to get this outside cleaned up. Whew, it's a little cool out for this. Let me get you a walk around real quick while it's wet, because it looks better. There we go. Look at that. That paint's like almost perfect. Gotta hurry up before it dries. All right, guys, there it is. 1992 SAAB back on the road. We're gonna we're gonna have to go after a couple of things, but for the most part, we're back on the road. She runs and drives. She just needs a little bit of transmission fluid, and I think we'll get her shifting again. This one's for sale. Anybody's interested? If you know anybody who's looking for a SAAB, contact me. My email is in the description. Just let me know. We can talk about it. It's a one owner, essentially. It's one family owner. It was my mother's brother, her uncle. He bought the car new, and all the paperwork is in the car. And then when he passed away, the car went to my wife's mother, and she's had it up until now, where she's come down with Alzheimer's, and she just can't keep the car, and we don't really want her to have a car. So at this point, I talked to her about it, and she was okay with giving me the car and letting me go through it and moving it to somebody who would take care of it. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what this video was about, getting this thing back on the road for her, getting it going, and see if we can find a good home for it. So I'm going to list it. If somebody out there is interested, you're more than welcome to contact me through my email there in the description, and we'll talk about it. All right? All right, guys. That's it. I think we're going to call this one complete. And I'm going to actually be making 2 videos out of this. I need to do one just on that lock mechanism because there's several videos. There's not several. There's very, very few videos out on the lock mechanism on this thing. The key, for the ignition. I'd like to get one out there because there's a lot more detail in this one than I've seen in the others. So I'm going to go ahead and release just the section of getting that key to turn, since that seems to be a problem with these cars. So I'm going to release just that by itself, and that will also be a part of this Will It Run video. So just so you guys know, there's going to be a 2-video release with this, just because I want to be able to title it different and have people who are struggling with getting their key to turn find this video. They won't find it if it's a Will It Run. They will find it if it's titled right. So like, subscribe, all those things, share. I appreciate you guys. We're nearing 400 subscribers, and I'd never have guessed it. I never would have guessed it. I started this thing to document the build of the Thunderbird and let my son be able to see what's going on while he's deployed in Poland and wherever else he's at right now for the Ukraine war. I just wanted he wanted to be able to kind of keep involved. He wanted to know what was going on. So, it's great. He can watch the video, then we can talk back and forth about what happened. So I never imagined it would turn into this. So thank you. I really appreciate it, all you guys, and I will see you on the next video. All right.